Falcha, falcha, falcha. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the South Shore Method Show. Today it's a different type of video. I like this one, and I think that this might be even more illustrative of, or it might show what I do a little bit better to my audience, and hopefully I can get a few more clients. Which, bring it on, guys! Remember, this is during COVID, and I'm an independent contractor, so I could use your cases, and I want to help you. But this is an excellent tool for anybody who's going through a tough time adjusting their child's behavior to homeschooling and to this new type of reality, right? So here is my conversation with my clients who I like very much. I enjoy the conversations with them. It's a good illustration of my style and the way that I incorporate all these things that I talk about. The mindfulness, the behaviorism, the evolutionary psychology, and really that good old-fashioned South Shore cooking, which is just like being real with people, connecting with them on a real level, not on some Freudian, like I'm above you type psychological stuff, which I just do not believe in. I do not think it's effective. So you can kind of see the way that I communicate with parents, and I think it's a great video, and I hope everybody enjoys it. It's a little long. I might clip it up a little bit, but, use it as a tool. Check it out. Subscribe. Go to the website, southshoremethod.com. And please, if you have your own specific issues with your kids, it could just be, it doesn't have to be extreme. It doesn't have to be a big thing. If it's just a matter of I want to get my kid to shower more often, I can work with you and we can come up with strategies. The same thing for families. If you just need some family consulting counseling, like I'm here, and I have answers. No matter what your problem is, if it's behavior, which it all is, I got answers for you. So here it is. Here's my session with Steve and Michelle. Made a lot of progress. They were been great clients. Couldn't be happier with them letting me record this and show this to everybody. So please enjoy. Leave some comments. Send me an email. I'd love to hear some feedback. All right, guys. Toodaloo.
Tell me, how's the last week been?
Interesting.
As far as well, Steve did have coronavirus.
So you got positive tests. Wow. Yeah.
Yep.
So the stress level, I didn't do as much as I probably should have as far as like trying to get everything going.
Oh yeah.
It was a rough last week. But we did, I did try some of the things, and it really did help. Especially that daily checklist you had given us.
Yeah.
Because on Friday, what I'm doing is I'm still doing schoolwork with Gianna.
Right.
Even though she doesn't have virtual classes.
Yeah. Which is good. Which is excellent. Yeah.
Yeah. So it was good for her to even have it here too, because she kept like looking. Did I finish my work? Did I keep my cool? Like It was very good. Way for her to be reminded of what she needed to do.
Right. I'm just going to grab the checklist right there. So because we are recording this, and I just want to so when I show this later, if it's on YouTube or whatever, we can kind of reference what we're talking about. So I'm going to grab it. Just give me a second.
Okay, no problem.
Okay. There's only a few cat prints on this, so this will work. These things are just all over my home office, whatever you want to call it now. But yeah, so yeah, you're talking about this, right? So she's using this to kind of like just help her stay on top of what she needs to do. And also
self-focused.
Yes.
Yeah. So what you guys put in the morning with those boxes? Like what does she earn? Like
the 30 minutes at time.
Okay, cool. Yeah, excellent. Yeah. So that's exactly like it makes it clear for her, just like all of us, man. It's like, we talk about that paycheck at the end of the week, right? How many hours you work? I get paid this much per hour. I work this many hours. That's what I get. And so this is kind of a similar type of contingency for kids. Absolutely. So
yeah, and I even gave her like even a specific time frame too, so from like 10 to 11:30 she had to do her work with all of this. She got her 30 minutes of iPad. It was really great to have it like really specific for me and for her, because it kind of kept us all on the same page, and she knew exactly how long she was expected to sit and do what she was supposed to do, you know.
It just, yeah, I mean, that's like a microcosm for like anything else that you want to be doing, right? It's like, if it's clear, if you know,
Yeah.
see, you were talking, let's use it like like an adult job, right? If you just
Right.
say like, hey, if you work at a 7-Eleven, you're saying, hey, run the store, you know, instead of saying like, hey, you got to take inventory. This is what time we open. This is when you mop. The coffee needs to be changed this many times per hour. It's like, it's not just like, hey, do it, right? Because that's usually what we're doing to kids, especially parents. We're so reliant upon the school to provide that structure.
Right. Yeah. I mean, that was, you know, that the thing is, like, if I just sat here with her, I'd be like, okay, just do your work and be quiet, like, you know, and kind of in a frazzled way. But now I'm like, no, here we have to finish. You know, it was again it kind of kept me cool too. I was like, did you, you know, are we keeping our cool? Did we use appropriate language? You know, it was like a very, it worked both ways. It kept me sane for sane.
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly what it's designed to do. It's like, you know, and like, I didn't come up with this, right? It's like, this is like, it's, you know, decades and decades of like behavioral science. It just shows
Right.
like, if you, and like, you know, you can apply this, and now hope a lot of parents, you know, are like seeing, you know, we talked about this last time, like, and now you see all the memes on Facebook and everything, right? Like the teacher
Right.
wasn't the problem type of deal. It's not that like
Yeah.
the parents are the problem. It's just saying that the parents don't have the training. Like, flat stop. And it's like, it's not only that, but it's like, and the school doesn't have the resources to be training parents and teachers. Like,
Right.
you know,
It's but I feel like also, like, as a parent, like,
just move it.
I'm emotionally invested
Gotta
in,
do
like, you
something
know, my
about it.
kids. So when I volunteer at the school, I have a lot more patience perhaps for other people's kids, and
oh,
knowing they're going to go home to somebody else. But when, you know,
a
when I'm
million,
done teaching, I have to
Social
deal with them.
distancing.
You
Thank
know, it's
you.
harder. It's a lot harder knowing at 2:30 I'm still with them. You know, even though they're done with their schoolwork, I still have to be a parent. So it's a really hard.
See, I chickened out. I just went and got COVID, so I
I
don't
know
have to
you
deal
got
with it.
yeah, what a coward. I mean,
I know you got to lay in bed for 5 days. You know.
were you laid up then? You were, you know,
Day and a half, maybe.
yeah. So what's your
I-
blood type? Not that I don't want the brother, but I'm just curious. Is there this blood
I
type?
know he had like it was like a between a 99 and 100 fever for
Yeah.
4 days.
So when
And it
you
was only
have
an hour
fever-
a day.
yeah.
You know, it wasn't like steady.
It would go up and down. Yes, it would go up. He'd get chills, headache.
Yeah, and I mean,
Cough.
I took Tylenol once
Yeah.
last week. If it wouldn't have had this COVID, I would have been at work like it was nothing.
Right.
Yeah,
It would
yeah,
not
yeah,
do nothing if it wasn't.
If it wasn't all of this nonsense.
you know, yeah, like if it was, you know, for those people who are like whatever, we don't really quite understand why. Who's like,
Dude, I don't know why. Listen, I'm high risk. I got all the
Yeah. Diabetic, hypertension.
bald, overweight, you name it, I got it.
yeah, man. So I mean, like, you know, you're getting those stories about like the 90-year-old smokers who are beating it, and you're just kind of like,
Yeah, and it's like, here's a 30-year-old high school coach track
Olympic,
guy.
oh yeah, Olympic swimmer. I saw the guy who was laid up. Like, who knows? Anyway, we're not gonna spend too much. I know we all want to talk. But like, you know, but Nate, I mean, like, it's not that it's not a big deal, because actually, it's like, you know, you're talking about that stress level and the fact that you guys were even able to implement anything during that time.
Yeah, last week. I mean, I honestly, I didn't start the boss bar till yesterday. That's how bad it was. So yesterday we started that. We came up with her reward, and what she, just some basic, you know, kind of keeping it small right now. Just, you know, as I'm trying to.
Try to keep her even keeled.
Yeah. So at least again, she had.
I'm gonna show the boss bar one time, just because, like, you know, you and I know, but if people are watching again, right? So it's just one of these, and I'll go through whatever the other videos I have will explain this. But it's basically, it's like, do we do these things? We get certain points, and then we get rewarded for them towards a goal. And this is like, and you're saying it's been helping you. This is our first intervention, because we've been, what is that, 6 weeks, maybe 7, like maybe 2 months since I started working with you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's been about, yeah.
Gosh,
I lost time. It's April.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, we're
It's for April. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did the 5 weeks, and then we took a month off. Yeah, so 2 months. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. And so it's like, you know, and that boss bar was at first, and that's always the go-to intervention, because it's like, what it's, yeah. And like, so that's at the core of that is that positive reinforcement, which is still what we're talking about with that checklist too.
Yes.
It's just a more focused version for that specific school task.
Exactly.
And what's funny about it is when she doesn't get her points, there's no argument, there's no Yep.
She
She knows.
she
They know it.
knows, you know.
Yeah, right. It's just like saying, like, hey, listen, if you worked 30 hours last week instead of 35, that's why you didn't get the same paycheck. That's it.
And she at this point, she knows when she's doing something, and she knows it's going to cost her the points.
Exactly.
Which is
But
like,
you know,
yeah. Sorry, Michelle, I didn't mean to interrupt.
no, it's totally fine. I just, you know, she knows, like, now she has something she wants to earn, so we found something she really wants.
Yeah.
And so now she's back. We're back on track with that because we've been doing it for so long. But last week was a little off. Yeah. So last week we didn't do anything. No, I did this on Friday. So we did do the checklist.
The only good thing was I didn't feel good last week, but I didn't get the results till Monday morning. So.
So like after you started like feeling better, you found out you were positive?
Yeah, I was fine from Thursday. I've been fine since Thursday night, and I got tested Thursday afternoon.
Yeah.
Wow.
But yeah, so this was just, I didn't have the boss bar, so that was my, I was just.
But they picked right back up on it, and they're into it now.
Yesterday I went over it with her. It's all laid out. She knows what she's got to do.
I had another client too. It's kind of dealing with similar stuff, right? And it's like, actually, like right now, especially, it's like these boss bars or what are these checklists are giving those kids structure that they're missing because they're not in school. And like, so they're craving it. They don't know they're craving it, but they are craving it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it's true. I mean, especially like Gianna, she,
Yeah, this is screwing with her
is
a million different ways.
Affecting her.
I mean, and me and you and like every, we're like, so I get like this, and I love actually going to work is like the best thing in the world. Like I'm looking forward to this because it's like, all of a sudden you feel like, oh, you have purpose you're doing. I'm not just like in this permanent Sunday haze of like, what am I doing next or forcing myself, even though, having somebody force you to go to work for a lot of people, right? That's pretty much the only structure they have in their life. Everything else is kind of like time off, right?
Right.
And so, I was never one of those people who I'm still not. I don't wake up at 5 o'clock and like go to the gym or do one of these, these crazy things. But it's like, we're starting, and I'm personally, you start to see the utility of that, especially when no one's providing you structure. You got to, I think last time when we talked
the worst thing I heard, can't do anything for 2 weeks. I'm bouncing off the walls.
Yeah. It's horrible. Yeah. We're human beings. We need to be doing something. We need to occupy ourselves. You need to have purpose, man. If you just lay around, we talked about this like the other day, like the idea of, or last time, it's like, what is it, the Matt Damon movie when he's on Mars, right? It's like
I was on that night, believe it or not.
Really?
Yeah, I watched it. We talked about it.
Yo, it's so important. I think everybody right now, whoever watches this video in the future, if anybody like, yo, go watch The Martian, right? Yeah. And see, it's like the guy, in order to not go insane, the guy's got to create goals and structure for himself, even if he knows they might be pointless or there might not be something on the back end of it.
Right.
You just gotta give yourself purpose. You gotta give yourself structure.
It's true.
Well, I'll tell you, this is giving me a good understanding into Gianna's head.
Yes.
Whole thing.
Well, unfortunately, she's, what we're noticing with her more right now is like a lot more, like I said, flapping and, like it's like a sensory, like she's been doing this a lot more, which she didn't really do a lot.
Yeah. We were all doing it. So I'm biting my nails more, right? If you touch it, you're touching your face more. Like, I was doing real good and I hate the fact that I do that, right? But it's like, it's, because I don't notice I'm doing it. It's just, it's like a tick, right? Yeah. And it's socially acceptable.
What's going on?
Yeah.
So we're talking about this with kids with ASD diagnoses, right? Like the flapping or whatever. It's like everybody does it. We're just better at doing it covertly. I do this instead of flapping my hands, or I do this a lot, or whatever it is. We are all stimming all the time.
Huh.
And so a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like so a lot of it is the perception of the kids. So the kids usually, and this is like part of like the behavioral profile for those kids, right? It's like they don't really notice that people are noticing them. That's the difference.
Yes.
And so
because I remember times I go out with Gianna and I'd be like, Gianna, we're gonna do normal, we're gonna act normal tonight. And she actually did, like sometimes when we go to Dr. Mike, sometimes if she's in, clear state and everything, she notices, okay, she knows like maybe I shouldn't be doing this.
So I don't like to use the word normal. I like to say appropriate, and kind of be more specific.
When she's barking like a dog in the doctor's office in front of everybody, we need to act normal.
Yeah, you know what? Like, listen, like, I think normal became a dirty word somewhere around the thing. It's not. It actually, it's like it's a scientific word. What it means is like there are norms in society, right? Like not barking like a dog, like, and like we follow those norms. You have to wear shoes in 7-Eleven. I keep bringing 7-Eleven.
Like appropriate, I would say, for like running in the place and running around. That act appropriately. Saying something off color, act appropriate.
Right.
Barking like a dog, normal.
I mean, like, you could use those are all interchangeable, but there are norms, right? It's like, if you walk around crossing your eyes all the time, people are going to look at you funny. Like,
right.
Unless that's something, and I don't want to mean to say anybody's got something with their, like with some kind of
condition. Oh,
purposely doing it.
Right. No, I get it.
Yeah, you're just, and a lot of people, they want to express themselves, and you get that, right? But there's also a cost to not behaving within those norms. So
right.
But yeah, anyway, that's as a side. But listen, when the kids, and I see Gian at school, right? And it's
yes.
And that's pretty much how I know her. I've seen a little bit of what you guys are talking about at home. Those first couple sessions where she wouldn't leave us alone, and like,
yes.
Yeah, but we nipped that in the bud real quick though, didn't we?
Yes. I'm putting it on the boss bar. It was like,
no, like if you guys could like talk about that for a second, because I kind of, just to illustrate kind of what that was. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
it was almost instantaneous. Yes. She saw a benefit in not bothering, not interrupting.
She earned
there was a benefit.
Her points is she just left us alone, and the next session she left us alone.
And now it's the norm. Now it's off the bar.
So the last 3 sessions, she didn't bother us at all, because she knew there was a positive reward at the end. She would get 15.
And now it's become regular. If we say Mommy, Daddy need some time, she knows.
Right, that's almost kind of like she just kind of learned how to do that. Even
she got conditioned to kind of walk away.
Right,
yeah, that's exactly it. It's conditioning, and it's just like and it's easy. We'll learn this in our own lives. It's hard to kind of point it out, but like you talk about. I always go back because it's a hard thing to do. But like if like exercise or getting into a routine or doing anything, right? It's like once you start doing it, you get addicted to that thing, right? So now like Gianna's getting addicted to like doing what she's asked to do. Because that's actually more rewarding for her than doing what she was doing before.
Right.
So, that's it's just positive reinforcement. That's what that checklist is. That's what the boss bar is. And that's like, even we were talking, and I guess I'm going to ask you guys how you're doing this stuff. But like, as far as like trying to use that positive language and telling when Gianna's just doing the right thing, even when you usually wouldn't have said like, hey, great job, kid. Because it's just like she's sitting there being quiet, which is most parents are just their normal reaction to that is just to say like, you don't say anything. You're like, good. That's what they're supposed to be doing. That's what you're thinking.
Right. Exactly.
Whereas like as a parent, what you really need to be doing is like every time, especially if it's a little out of character, right? Or even if it's not, just giving that praise. Hey, listen, I like that you drank that full glass of milk, and usually you don't have it.
Right. It's true.
Yeah.
Today she was independently. She picked up a book and started to read, and I was like, a huge thing about it. I was like, you're reading them.
Yeah. I mean, like, and like there's for some, like my daughter, I have to walk a fine line with that because like I don't want to embarrass her at the same time, right?
Right.
But most kids are like, that's okay, don't worry about it. Most kids are like, if you give them that praise, they are, even if they go like, oh yeah, whatever, thanks.
Right.
Well, the fact.
She loved it though, but she ate it. Like I noticed the more we do that, positive for like things that, again, aren't huge, but they're just, a little different for her. She could see the smile. Like you could tell it feels good. It feels good for her.
Absolutely, man. So last time we were saying that like, because, we got this school disruption, that she was some of those old behaviors, some of those, the violence and like the threats and the that type of more extreme type of stuff. That's back. So how do we do? Even in this week with Steve, getting that positive and you guys super high stress. How was that?
It was better since she had school on Thursday, and that kind of the structure kind of kept her in her routine. And then Friday, I did the school with them, and we had the checklist, and it kept her. I started to see her, and like we both kind of calmed down, and she did not get violent at all that Friday, doing her school. It was amazing. And just having like this calm set of rules. She was good. I was good. We got through it. She's been. Honestly, it's Saturday and Sunday was okay. And then yesterday, like I said, I set up the boss bar again, and she's kind of like, you could see like she's got that focus again, like she's kind of getting it again.
So what's the reward on the boss bar now that you guys can't go to IKEA? Because previously I kind of fill in like, so
yeah. No, go.
Oh, sorry. So like, Steve and Michelle used the going to a trip to IKEA on Sundays because Gianna loves it so much. That was the reward. So that was her boss bar points until she earned all these points until she got to the where'd I go? Here you go. Until she got to like all the way up on here, right?
Yeah.
She couldn't go to IKEA, so every week she'd make sure that she got here because she was motivated to get to IKEA. And sure enough, we saw that those behavior changes come pretty quick. And so, but now we don't have IKEA. So what have you guys been using?
Robux, 800.
Okay. Hey, as long as you're following that, like the number one rule of my South Shore method thing, which is like limit the access to that, then that's gonna work.
Right.
If she
I mean, on the weekends we give her more time.
Sure.
During the week we limit it, and then she has the opportunity to earn extra time. So by doing the checklist, the daily checklist. So but that's she loves, even if she's on it just for her short amount of time or whatever, just getting the Robux, she can, I don't know, buy clothes. I don't know what she does.
Oh yeah, I know. It's like there's a lot of stuff going on in Roblox that I'm like, it looks like Minecraft, but then there's like people talking to people and like, and also there's like these narratives. We have other kids, like honestly, like parents, you should be watching Roblox, like because there's a lot of stuff that can happen in Roblox.
Yes.
And there's like some pretty free dialogue, and there might be some older people on there, so just make sure that.
Yeah, absolutely.
But it's cool. It creates this little virtual world, and I'm sure right now for kids, it's like it's huge.
It's sad, but that's all they have, right?
Yeah. It's a scary future. We're gonna get out of this eventually, but like,
right.
For right now though, those virtual communities they're important.
Yeah, and it's funny. My mom is on Roblox, so
really?
She hasn't seen me over 2 weeks. With everything, so it's also kind of a way for them to.
Good for your mom. I love it. Yeah. No, really though. Like that's awesome. Like,
but it's also, it's kind of like my mom is like the insider because she'll like follow Gianna around in Roblox.
Hey, listen, like, I snoop on the group chats on my daughter's iPad. I see what these kids are saying to each other. And if you don't, parents out there, you're not doing your job. You need to know what your kids are in. So it's like, if you don't have a grandma on the inside, right? Then like, it's important for you to know like what they're up to because
it's true. She gives me the heads up. She's like, she friended this person whose name was this. And I'm like, okay, so then I can address it. I'm like, okay, what?
Grandma, I love it. That's awesome.
So, it's good because she helps her, she helps me, but it's also good right now because it's a way for Gianna to play with her, because she can't see her. So
yeah,
it works for now.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's what she's earning. So hopefully, and we started it and she earned some points yesterday. It's gonna, she's got to get back into the routine, but she's mindful of it now. So we're back to, knowing what's expected and what she needs to do.
Yeah, and that's the key to all of this stuff. And so like generally, like Michelle, how I know I guess it's like maybe Steve's out of the woods. You guys seem a lot more relaxed than you were last week.
Yeah, last week I was like, he was sitting here and I just saw him like, I'm like, what, are you okay?
I know, it was hurting for sure.
Yeah, all of a sudden, I mean, because he would go up and down. So we were sitting here and I would look at him and he's like pale and he was like holding his head. I'm like, are you okay? What's going on?
Yeah, and nothing is funny. Yeah, it was. Yeah.
You have to go to the bathroom, so go. It's okay. Yeah, so it's just.
I'm just like by like saying like if we were to do this video 2 months ago when we started, right?
Yeah.
How like it wouldn't have been like, hey, can I get a minute? Can I go to the bathroom?
Right. No.
It'd been like, hey, what's this? Who's that?
Fly up to the screen. Yeah.
I am so impressed with her though. I really am.
Yeah, no, I mean, and it's funny because that was actually Gabby. She's she's got it too. No,
Well, it's like we talked about this when we set out. Like, and I'll talk to other parents who might be watching this in the future. Like, you can't do this for one kid. If you got 5 kids, you need 5 plans, because
Yes.
all of a sudden it's like, we see this in our society. If there are rules for these people, there are not rules for those people.
Well, that's it. It's true. The same amount of time Gianna has to do work on Friday, Gabby has to do the same amount of work in that time. Even if she has less work to do, I'll make her sit and do something. So it's the same. I can't hear anything. You're good. Okay. So yeah, so she's held to the same and she earns the same, so that they're on the same, they're on the same page with that, which is but yeah, no, she's great, just she picked up on it really well, because she gets it too. She has her boss bar also, and
Yeah, like we were saying, like, like if you and Steve could set up boss bars for each other. Like, it's like it is, but it's true. We talked about him even like trying this out at work a little bit, like just saying, like, a little difficult now, I'm sure, but like,
yeah,
but saying like, hey, listen, you got an extra 30 minutes of break if you hit these marks, like,
right.
oh, we'll take an early lunch, and like, you'll see, like, people will start to do what you want them to do, like.
Right.
And yeah, so it's like, if it's like, if you want, make sure it's like, this for me, it's like, if it's my fiance, she's like, oh, this dude, he never, whatever it is, like, after he trims his beard, he never cleans it up.
All right, can you
Go ahead.
we're having
Please go ahead.
1 minute.
Go ahead.
All right, Gabby, go. All right, Gabby. We had quarantined the back bathroom for a while, but it's clean. He's okay. So they both had to go to the bathroom at the same time. So they could both use the bathroom. So it's fine.
Oh, all right.
They
You
just
guys were on top of it. So you had to, like, use Steve bathroom then? That's what that was?
Yeah, we had, because in the master bedroom there's the bathroom, and we didn't let the kids in there for days. But now he's okay, and I cleaned everything, so both kids could use both bathrooms at the same time now.
Right. Yeah. So what about you? Are you like, did you feel ill at all? Have you, like, do they even bother testing you, or are they just like?
Oh, I think we're gonna wait and see. I guess 2 weeks if I start to feel sick, but I'm fine.
Well, I imagine that, like, that probably started before he got sick, right? So you've already been exposed longer than that anyway.
Yeah, because he started last Sunday night, so today is like day 9.
Yeah.
Since he's sick. So
I mean, like, I gotta say, man, like, I was thinking about you guys all week, and I'm,
thanks. Yeah, it was scary. It was scary.
It's super scary.
I'd wake up in the night and just like listen to see if he was breathing okay. I was like, and he was. I mean, it was amazing. He was like, okay.
Yeah.
Never breathing issue. I mean, cough, but not a bad cough. I don't know. I mean, I do a lot of like, I'm into like supplements and homeopathy and oil. I kind of treated him with my stuff, and I don't know, it worked. I don't know.
Hey, listen, like, there's a lot of things we're not really sure why they work and why they don't work, right? We've talked about it before. It's like, even though, like, the positive thinking or prayer, like, if you're a religious person, you're praying this whole time, yeah, that will help you. If you're a religious person, you don't pray, I don't know, you're probably, then you feel like maybe you don't, it's like, it's just another tool for you. So that's
right. Yeah, no, I thank God he's, everyone, even like his primary care doctor was shocked. She's like, with his health history, she's like, you're okay? Like, he's like, yeah, I'm fine.
That's awesome. So I mean, like, how did the girls deal this whole time?
They were nervous. They were scared. They were tears. They would cry. Is daddy gonna die? Is what's going on?
So how are you handling it?
I mean, I was just like, no, he's fine. Like, I was like, it's like a bad cold. Like, I was just trying to make it very, yes. I just downplayed it, for them, for their sake. I'm like, no, because, they see the news. And, I'm like, no, he's, and they would see him. He would walk around. He'd come out. He was eating, it wasn't like he was in his bed, not able to move. So when they would see him up and about, I think that helped also, it made them realize he's okay,
Right.
He's,
we're talking about, like, for both of your sake, last week, did you guys cut down on, like, the news consumption? Because even, like, I would say, like, that stuff helps, right? Limiting it to multiple times a day or once a day.
We cut it down for
We
sure.
cut it down a
We
lot.
watch it
And
once a day. That's it.
yeah,
12 o'clock. We'll put it on. That's it.
Yeah, I had that with a client. He's an older kid, and he would, like, be texting me 10 times a day about it, and I had to put down the thing. I'm like, buddy, you can text me once a day about something you heard, but you know, you got to understand that, like, you know, it's
Well,
good for you and it's good for me
well,
not to talk about this whole day.
what do you want?
Where did you put your bag?
It's over. It was over there. It should
I'm
be right
sorry,
in
she
front.
wants to go outside.
Yeah.
You got it? Yeah, now that they're done with school, we let them go outside for a million hours. Just
Yep.
run around the backyard.
Please, right? Go ahead. I mean, look, they're going to be like,
Go get your chair.
there's so much of these behaviors that, like, we're going to learn new stuff that's going to be great or not so great. Like, so you guys are taking these proactive steps to, like, you know, because right now, after this COVID nonsense is over, right? Like,
Right.
still going to use these things, right? Now you guys have, like, so
Of
many.
course.
By the door.
Oh no, they're by this door. I'm sorry. They're by this door. Your old sneakers are. I'm sorry. She's getting ready to go out, so she has to get all her stuff together. We moved some things, so. But she's, you know what? She's keeping her cool. We're doing good.
Hey, yeah, I got no. Yeah, how dare you parent in this moment?
It's all good.
What?
What?
Yes.
What kind of coat? Light coat?
Light coat, medium coat, you'll be fine.
Light, medium, and gloves. That's it. Yeah. So.
Yeah, but I think seeing what happened with me, I think takes away a lot of that nonsense to see on the news, and I think they're starting to realize
it's not
that
nonsense.
the news is a lot of doom and gloom.
Well, the news, but that's what it is. Like, you know, if it bleeds, it leads type of stuff. And, like, you
Right.
know, yeah, beyond the COVID, and they'll just tell you, this is the scariest thing about COVID that we've discovered today. And it's,
Right.
you know, we got to remember last time, I think we said, it's like, you know, I keep using this analogy, but we're not living in London while the Nazis are bombing us. We're not living during the Blitz where we got to live in the basement every night. And, like, it's scary and it's concerning, right? And, like, but
Yes.
like you were saying, so I'm sure even, like, you know, limiting that news, right, keeping your stress level down keeps everybody's stress level down.
Them too. Yes.
Yeah, and even that, like, you keep saying everything's going to be okay, it's fine, daddy's got a real bad cold. You're actually like, you're coping. You're right. Yeah, absolutely. And it's important to keep that, you know, for anybody when you're going through these steps, even if you don't believe it,
Right.
just keep saying it.
Right. Yeah, it's true.
It's crazy. I mean, like, you know, the just that connection between that mind and body is a real thing. Like,
Oh, it's huge.
yeah, it's, you know, it's one unit. We're one unit. Like, you know, people like to think of this is my brain and this is my body. Like,
It's all connected.
it
You
is.
okay? Don't scare me. I can't do this anymore. Every time I'm like, are you okay?
I mean, he seems okay.
If I didn't want to hurt myself, I would hit the floor, but I know I'll get hurt.
Yeah.
Work again?
Work again, sorry.
Yeah, a lot of work calls. A lot of people calling to see if he's okay too.
That's quite an essential position that Steve has there. So it's
Yeah.
like, of all the things.
Yeah, no, he and like the Department of Health of Suffolk County called. Like once you're positive, like you're monitored by many people now. So
Yeah.
So. But yeah, that's, you know, I just for the kids' sake, we limit the news now. We you know, like, look, Daddy is okay. You know, he was sick, but look, he's okay. You know, he's gonna be just fine. And you know, a lot of people are gonna be okay with this. We just have to. I keep telling them that. Some people will not be, but a lot of people will be okay.
Yeah,
So.
you know, it's like, and it's not to minimize this at all for what people are going through, for people who are getting really dying, but like, we have to imagine that's just like the rest of life, right? There's like tragedy strikes people. Most of the time, you know, in the society we live in, also the stuff, family, it's not the end of the world all the time, even when things are bad.
It's bad, right? I mean, they're afraid. They know it can be bad for some people, and you know, but they also know some people will be okay. So you know, but luckily he's fine, and they feel better now. I could definitely tell they're calmer now with that because they see he's
100%. And you guys are calmer. Like, I can just your disposition right now compared to what it was last week.
It was worse. We were in the thick of it last week. So
now you sound much more confident. You sound, you know, just like it's under control. Like
yeah, it's definitely. I mean,
I'm just waiting for the Grim Reaper at this point.
Oh, stop. But you know, I also like honestly like having them go back to their virtual school. That's made a huge difference.
Yeah, that's big. That was
even
big.
for like me, like just hearing the teachers' voices again and seeing the kids like
focus
with their
on
friends
something,
and
right?
It's that structure for her, especially Gianna. Like it's huge. It's huge. You know.
For sure. I mean, it's everything actually. Like, it's really for kids, this structure. So we think the kids want to run around and get free. I mean, of course they do pieces of that, right? But they actually want that in
Right.
like a structured environment.
Yes, it's true. That's right. Yeah, no, she savors that outdoor time now because she knows she finished her schoolwork, so she's good to go, you know?
Yeah, and it's an important lesson. It's just that, you get done with work, you work hard, you play hard. Go ahead, but that's you earn that playtime. Like,
Right.
it always
And
feels better.
I'm sorry.
No, it's like I say, it's like, if you're on vacation all the time, you're unemployed, right?
Right.
It's
Right. You don't, but she gets like a few problems of math homework every night, and she's doing it. She does, it's 3 problems, but she'll sit and she'll do it during the day because then she'll earn her 30 more minutes of iPad time.
Right.
And then after school's over, she can go out and play because she's done with all her work, So it's all, it's all kind of getting this organized and figuring out this new routine, but kind of using what you've given us. You know what I mean? It's just kind of all coming together now for us.
Well, it's
Definitely
like, that's kind of what I'm trying to like push, is trying to let people know it's like it is all connected. It's all part of the same thing, which really at the end of the day is positive reinforcement and being consistent. And that's it. It's like, if you can do those 2 things, you have to provide the structure inside of that and blah, 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 right? But that's at the core of it. It's just like, give the kids something when they're doing the right thing. And make sure.
Yeah. Because the consistency for her and knowing that she structured what she's going to earn, she gets it, and it's definitely it helps her so much. It helps her so much. So
what are you guys looking at, like, challenges right now? What's like what's on the horizon? Because we got to keep leveling up.
I don't know. What's our newest challenge with her?
I think if we can keep the status quo, we're going to be good.
I mean, I think
she's
still continuing, keeping her.
Well, I think as these little things change, I think, little tweaks, and I mean, unfortunately, these little tweaks are big changes in her life.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't want to throw a lot at her. She's dealing with it better. She's dealing with changes.
My main focus for me personally is like trying to keep Fridays. Like Fridays are the one day of our school week that I don't have the virtual classroom. So Fridays for me are going to be like
structured.
The hardest day, the biggest challenge for her, because I'm in charge of that day. But that's pretty much it. As long as I make sure I keep myself.
She's
calm.
adapting herself better, like even for being outside.
Mm-hmm.
She's adapting to being outside more.
Yeah.
The bugs aren't bothering her as much, and there are bugs out there at this point. There's bugs flying around, and we haven't had the issue with it.
Well, I would say, like, and I don't know, we didn't talk about this, but this is an interesting point. I kind of heard other things like this before, especially with kids on the spectrum, where we're talking about, and don't get me started on my beef with the neurologists and stuff, right? But, the sensory processing disorder, right? Where it's not a real thing. Like, what it is like, kids with ASD, or with ASD diagnosis, like, they are a little more sensitive to things, sure, right? But the thing is like, you can expose them to those things while they're doing something else that they like, and all of a sudden those things, they can tolerate them, right? And so
that's 100% true. That's 100% true.
And with her, if she's occupied with something, you don't see I'm going to say 8 out of 10 times, you won't see the other issue. If she's occupied, get involved in playing this, 8 out of 10 times, you're not going to see the reaction to a gnat.
Yeah.
Right.
A bee or a hornet lands on her arm. Listen, I'd freak out.
Right. Well, that's a normal reaction. But
the running in when she sees a gnat, I haven't had that since day one.
For a couple of years,
they ran when they first started going out. They saw a gnat. They both ran in. That was it.
So what do you guys think? And I'm gonna turn you guys, put your behaviorist hats on. So now, like, knowing what you know now, what do you think that was actually causing her to run in the house?
Oh gosh.
Well, whatever. The problem was she had nothing going on where she was now she's able to focus on playing.
Right.
Yeah.
She's not so concerned about her worries and her fears. She knows how to kind of now divert her energies to doing something productive,
that she
as opposed to being out there just sitting there waiting for the fear.
Right.
So I think I was also, it's like, and like, I think, and I don't know, but like that parental attention that she was getting every time that she ran in and she said, there's it's a gnat.
Right.
Right.
Even whether it was positive or negative, right?
Right. The reaction.
She was getting that attention. And so it's like now, but now she's got probably way too much of your attention because she's at home all the time.
Well,
right?
you know what's funny? Came running in. I was just like, yeah, whatever, guys. It's just a gnat, and that was it. There was nothing. There was really
Yeah,
no.
we try to limit our reaction too, because we know that doesn't necessarily
We're
help the
just kinda done with it at
situation
this
when we're
point.
like, oh my gosh, we're like, okay.
Well, you put it's also one that's like perspective, right? And you're like, like your dad just beat this deadly disease, and you're running in here talking about it like a half microscopic bug. Like, guys,
Right.
what are we doing?
True.
I mean, part of that, but I'd also say it's like, we're talking about this bigger thing, and you can apply this to like any time you're like, well, Gianna can't eat Brussels sprouts because she doesn't like the feel of them in her mouth.
Right.
Parents need to cut that stuff out. Like it's like the kid's not doing it because they figured out a way to get out of doing it. Right. And so like I had clients where it's like, he doesn't brush his teeth because he doesn't like the feel of it. He has a sensory thing with the toothpaste. And I'm like, but when you brush his teeth, he's okay with it. Yeah. I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't think it's the toothpaste.
Right.
It's the fact that he doesn't want to learn how to brush his teeth himself, and mom will do it for you.
Right.
That's it. And it's like, this is true. It's like even me, if I'm honest, right? I take like, it'd be like whatever, like pick an example, like Indian food. I'm like, I don't like Indian food. And I think about it, is that even true? Like, or is it just like, I don't even want to take the time to figure out whether or not I like Indian food or not. I know I like Italian food. So let's just order from the Italian place. Like, I don't want to learn something. I don't want tiki, whatever. I just give me what I know. And like, I think we all do this, right? And like, my daughter, that Boss Bar, I'm always putting like new foods on it, right? And trying.
But just remember, somebody tried bat soup, and look where we ended up.
Oh, stop.
Like say, as far as they got a lot of those things are opening back up those markets. But anyway,
right.
Let's like, I mean, like, listen, don't get too weird with your food, right? Like, 'cause it's like, you shouldn't be eating certain things. But like, you guys,
he wanted to try something last night. I let her try it. She didn't like it. Hey, you've tried it.
Right.
That's it.
And like, and even say, but great job trying it. And if you give
That's what we did.
then next time she's just going to keep trying things. Like, and I don't care if you don't like them, but I bet you that like, and as you get older in your taste, you want to impress your friends because, I eat these weird foods. All of a sudden, like this stuff will start to become self-reinforcing. Like,
yes. It's
new experiences, and especially for kids with these diagnoses, right? Diagnoses, like what we need to do is like new stuff and getting them out of their routines should be rewarded and should be encouraged all the time. Like, yeah, and you don't know what they're going to glom onto, but it doesn't matter. Just give them that richness of experience. Like,
well, my hope is that at some point something's going to just
you okay?
Spike her interest, and then bang,
She's
we're
going
good.
to the bathroom, honey. When
It's something new, something she'll enjoy, something she'll like, something,
Okay.
So many different things that could be. I'd love to. I'll roll the dice every day. I don't care.
Yeah, and so your job as a parent is like, so when you see something that does like, that lights her up, right? And then all of a sudden she loves it, right? And she's great for like 2 or 3 days and she gives up because she hit a wall. That's your job as a parent to notice that, being like, hey, honey, I'm gonna whatever the next, like I'm playing chess and she gets bored of it because she can't beat the computer on a certain level. I don't know, right? You're just saying like, hey, honey, let's watch YouTube and let's look through some strategies and let's go back and I'll do this with you. So it's like, because it's like, like especially with kids with ADD, I was one of these kids, right? Like every 2 weeks I'm onto something new. Like I just like love this. Like, and then as soon as it gets hard, I'm like, I'm trying something new.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? So I got like kind of good at like a whole bunch of stuff and really good at nothing.
Okay.
Right. And it's like, and like, I'll encourage parents to do this too. It's like one of the most important things you can do for your kid as far as their identity and for purpose, get them good at something, one thing. And like, if they don't pick it, you pick it. But it's better if they pick it. But
sure.
Do that. Like with my daughter, she loves drawing, right? But like, I want to make sure when I do that self-improvement, like you're getting better at this. You're not just doing it on the side of your notebook. Like, let's do this for real. You love this whole, it's like, I'm here for you. That I'm your coach. And I'm going to get you to that, to that next level, the Olympics and this. Like,
okay.
And like, so it's like, it's your job as a parent to like notice that, when she sees it, but then when she goes away from it and you thought that you did have talent for there and she really loved it, well,
Right.
add that to the stuff that you need them to do then. So that's self-reinforcing. Add that to the boss bar, add that to like, you know,
Oh, okay.
so like that's what I do with my kid. It's like every time that I see that she's into something, right? I put it up
Right.
on that boss bar and I say that like
Okay.
not that I want to make it work necessarily, right? But I want to show you that like even when you don't really want to try the new things and learn, yeah, you like messing around on the guitar, but you should learn your scales. Right?
Yes. Yeah.
Like learn the scales and then all of a sudden playing guitar period will just be more fun because you're better at it. So mastery and getting better at something is like the most fun you can have. Like I love the things that I'm good at. And I don't
Right.
like the things that I'm not good at.
Right. Of course. That makes sense.
Yeah. So like if I'm, you know, yeah, it's. Sorry, the cat is. um, this is actually giving me the most trouble as far as being home. My kid is.
Oh.
This thing, it's like she's up all night. She's just like, just when I do this is what she will not leave me alone. Like. Anyway.
Really? Wow. Yeah. No.
And
It's
like
amazing.
I don't have a lot of patience to condition the cat as much as I do my kid. So it's like. You know, I can't give this thing a boss bar, you know.
You can learn.
Yeah.
No, it's crazy because everyone's home now. It's pets must be like, what's going on?
Well, yeah. I mean, dogs are loving it, right? The cats are loving it. They're all. I can't. But yeah. It's a new paradigm. I mean, like everything is kind of different. We're learning this as we go. And like some you guys like again, like I say this every time we meet, but you're knocking it out of the park. Like.
Well, thank you. It's kind of what you're giving us is helping us so much with, especially right now, which I call it like a really hard time.
It's especially for the challenges that you guys had when we came into this.
Right.
I can't give you enough praise. I can't tell you, dealing with like, Steve got freaking COVID last week.
Yeah.
As they're still doing this stuff and going through
Right.
this, right? And this is a good lesson for everybody who might watch this or you could talk about this. Like, hey, like stay focused. We're gonna have tough times. It's all, it sucks most of the time. To live is to suffer. The only people who aren't suffering are dead or yet to be born. Like
Right.
That's it. And like, so it's like, you got to understand that, like, let's use this suffering for good. Like, make Gianna suffer by not going to IKEA if she doesn't do her stuff, because when she's 25, she's going to be able to make herself go to work when she doesn't want to.
It's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, I feel like there's a lot, I mean, my job told me basically I have to file for unemployment. I don't know when I'm going back to work.
Yeah,
I mean, I've been working nonstop since I was, 18. I've never not had a job.
Yeah.
And I don't, thank God we're healthy, number one, but number two,
So, I mean, yeah, I mean, I guess the challenge for you, and this was luckily or unlucky, this is my job now. Like, this is my full-time job. And, because I can't be in the schools and independent contractors. I'm SOL stuff. So, it's like, I'm lucky that I have this thing to like, to focus in on. And so like, Michelle, like, just like that's your challenge right now is to make sure in these next months, keep your sanity, which one is like the kids, it's like, you're the teacher now, actually, you're just not getting paid for it.
It's kind of works out that I lost my job just because I have to be home because they're not in school. So, it kind of out, but like for me personally, it's very emotional. Like, I'm like, gosh, what's my purpose? Like
Children.
Well, of course they're my purpose, but I'm also an adult with human, adult feelings, and I like adult conversation sometimes.
Well, listen, everybody's doing it. Start out like, even like, recording these conversations that you're having with people like this. If somebody sees this is helpful. And this is, I mean, super helpful for me to like illustrate what happens when I do this. Because I can put on a website or I can put on sheets and all this other stuff. But until you actually sit down for the conversation,
right?
It doesn't really work. So, who knows? You just start doing something that's fun for you. Like if it's your girlfriend or your mom, go on Roblox and you can put it up on Twitch, like the game streaming channel, right? But really, like do something goofy that you never learned before that you can share with the kids. I mean, like, or whatever you can do. There's the world is your oyster, kind of. Your oyster inside your house.
As long as I'm at home.
Yeah. You're free in your prison right now.
Right.
But but at the same time, this does give us a great opportunity to start like looking at what we're doing and not just mindlessly, going through the motions and this is my 40-hour week and then I do this and blah blah blah.
That's what I'd say. We're forced out of that now. Now we got no choice. Now we got to figure out what we're doing.
Yeah, it's true.
1 minute.
I mean, we had, we had such a routine, for so many years.
Yeah.
Both worked. We both, we took care of the kids. We, they went to school. Like everything was
But it's
so routine.
all routine. That's what all these phone calls I'm getting is because we're changing a big routine at Penn Station.
Yeah.
Nobody can grasp it because we've never changed anything.
Right. It's. I mean, if you think harmony of this, it's just like no one has ever dealt with something like kids being home from school in March and April. Like no one heard of such a thing. It's crazy.
And like I said, like again, you guys are knocking it out of the park, right? But like, there's gonna be a lot of parents out there who are just falling into really bad habits right now. Like and like, because it's easy. It's like, how do you not?
Yes. I mean, in the beginning, there's part of me was like, you know what? Why do schoolwork? What's the point? Like the depression, the sadness sets in. Everyone's sick. What's going on? I'll just stay in my pajamas all day and cry and eat whatever I want. And then I'm like, no, that's not helpful. It's not going to work for the kids. We got to get dressed. We got to do schoolwork. We got to eat appropriate meals at appropriate times. It just has to be done. It has to be done. Yeah. If not, everything will just crumble. Everything we worked so hard to achieve especially with Gianna's behavior and the setup we had, like, I can't let it all go downhill now. It's just
no. And I think we can think about it like, if you think about like parents and kids and like society and the people who live in it, right? So basically, because we've had these structure provided for us, it's like work the 40-hour week and then you retire or you do these things and like, so we just mindlessly do it because somebody else is doing it for us. Just like parents would be just creating that structure for your kid or not creating it for their kid, right? Just letting them coast.
All right, what's that?
Sure.
Do you want me to help wipe you?
But yeah, that structure is huge. So what do they got you? So like right now, it's like you're basically on the job all the time. That's what all these calls are coming in. They're still.
Yeah, I was given. I think they gave me about 20 minutes of actual. Hey, be sick. But I'm not. I'm still on administrative leave. So technically, I'm on leave. I'm out. So I'm not using my sick time. So I got to kind of.
Well, it's like, I guess, so you're not forced to use your sick time during this, or?
Not for this, no. Not for the corona.
That's a bonus, yes.
Yeah.
Bonus.
Well, either way, exactly. I mean, it's only 2 weeks. It's not like it's a big deal. I should be back. Hopefully, I'll get cleared early next week. Because now the new thing is, I think they said 5 days, no symptoms. You can get clearance to go back to work.
Okay.
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, they don't know either.
Probably going to get tested again, so.
I'm imagining they'll probably, well, I mean, like, even for you, it's like figuring out, like, whether, people are still carrying it and giving it out after they beat it, right? That's like.
Well, that's my thing. I mean, do I have immunity? Am I a carrier? And what the hell am I?
I know. Nobody knows this stuff. Yeah.
I will sell my plasma to the highest bidder if that's the case, though.
Yeah. How much are they paying for guinea pig work?
That's exactly it. You want plasma? How much?
Yeah, But yeah, I mean, it's, like we were just saying before, it's like everything is like, the railroad's going to do stuff differently now, aren't they?
Dude, we are upside down. We're talking about closing parts of the building that have never been closed.
Really?
Yeah, there's just no business, and the homeless are just taking over like crazy. So we got to do what we got to do.
Well, there's going to be more of them coming forward, too.
Unfortunately, that's the other problem. You're just going to start seeing a lot of that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I know.
Well, it's not the homeless. It's the EDPs.
Yes.
Right.
The homeless people.
No, that's what we're talking about when we say that. Like, we're talking about the people sleeping in Penn Station. We're not talking about the family that just lost their job that has to sleep.
Right. We're not talking
right.
true. I mean, I might have like 2 true homeless. Yeah. All the rest of the EDPs. Oh. And that's the problem because there's no place for them. There's no state hospital. Nothing.
Yeah, the hospitals can't, I'm sure, take anyone in now.
Yeah, but the courts are closed and they're not prosecuting these low-level things, and the cops are letting more go because they have to. I mean,
well, even with bail reform, there's nothing that can be done, and they know it.
Yeah.
They know it. They know that they have nobody has any recourse.
Yeah, even without the bail, but if that bail reform law didn't go in, we'd still be doing the same thing right now because we just can't.
Oh, we'd be a mess. Yeah, we'd be even more.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, this is, as parents, as society, we gotta turn it all around. We gotta figure out what we're gonna do. And it's like, we were doing a lot of dumb stuff before, And
Yeah.
because it was just what we're used to doing, it's like, well, even now, it's like, what insurance premiums are going to go up like 40, 50% in these, like after this stuff. And yet we're still like, oh, I don't know. We need to, make sure that everybody's still doing the same things that we did before. And you're like, bro, none of this makes any sense anymore. What are we doing?
Right.
Who knows? I'm not gonna. I'll stay off those points. But but just as a society, we're finding now. It's like we're living in a different world.
Crazy different.
It is. I mean, you watch TV, you're like, what are those people standing so close to each other? Like, what are you doing?
Right. It's amazing now how people are aware of.
Yeah.
I mean, when I went to a store, I never thought of walking down the same aisle as somebody. Like, it just wasn't even a concern. And now, like, when people go to stores, they're like,
I'm a little bit of a weirdo, especially as like, I was actually like when I used to work, when I used to commute, be on the railroad every day, I would go in with a bandana and mask when people's flu season and stuff. Cause they got a little anxiety like that. But like, I would just be like, I just see people like sneezing on each other and like, and I'd be like, oh, and also I was a smoker and I hated getting sick because it would last 6-8 weeks. So,
right.
Like, yeah, I made sure that like I still actually never touch the bars when I'm on the subway and stuff like that.
I don't think my hands.
Yeah.
It was the elevator.
Yeah. Well, I use my knuckles to punch stuff. Yeah, I mean, like and hey, a lot of these behaviors are like working out for me now.
Yeah.
Doing this stuff.
So wiping everything down for me I did that before it was popular. Every time we go to a restaurant, I'm cleaning all the tables down. I mean, The kids know it. They know to raise their stuff, and mom cleans with the Clorox wipe. And
well, when I was, I think I started to become a germaphobe. I used to work with a lot of these, kids who are, pretty severely, disabled, right? And like, where it was like a kid will cough in my mouth without thinking twice, right? Or just like, they're just licking their hands and touching you. And so it was always like, I had to start, and I started getting sick all the time, and I had to start being like, oh, okay, I have to be like, I have to do everything that I did. And like, so I don't, every day I get home, I'm like,
yeah,
because it's like, and then realizing like every time you touch one of those little kids' hands, like, even that's any kid in any school, like, don't touch those little dirty hands.
I know, that's the hardest part. I know.
Yeah. I don't want to hear it. I work in.
You're in.
I'm like Ed Norton. I work in a sewer.
Well, you were saying they got how many thousands of unidentified things?
Things that don't even have a name.
All right, guys. We got in late, so it's 3:00, so we got a few more minutes.
No, it's okay. We're good.
I think we're good.
Yeah, we're okay.
Yeah, we're all right.
All right. Yeah, I mean, like, again, you guys are knocking out of the park. I don't think that you need more help, right? But if we want to, you let me know. You want to check in weeks, months, days, whatever it is. I'm here.
Definitely. I would say, what are we at now? April. My thing is, I wonder if they're going back to school in May. That's kind of like my, my fear is that if they don't go back to school at all, what am I doing in September for the kids? That's like kind of like my vision right now, especially like I'm putting her back in public school in September.
All right, you guys have that on the horizon too.
Which I already said to Steve, if I have to sell a kidney, maybe keep her in Spark next year if they don't go back to school at all this year. I couldn't imagine being out for 6 months and then being like, okay, here's public middle school, have fun.
Well, I mean, like that's what we talked about before. That's kind of why you guys want to kind of keep me around anyway. Yeah. Right? It's because and that's what I was saying. So what our next leveling up challenges are, then maybe let's schedule whatever it is, if you guys are comfortable with, next week, 2 weeks from now, and we'll start to talk about what are those junior high behaviors that we need out of Gianna that we can start working on now. It's like, and I would say, don't let this change your plans, right?
Okay.
Like if she was going to go to middle school next year and like the junior high, right? Like that's what we need to be doing. And like, so, and don't sell any kidneys. You probably need both of them. But, really, but like, it's, we need to right now, Gianna showed us that we need to set the bar even higher.
Oh yeah, she can do it. I mean, we've seen. Yeah.
So don't stress on that, Michelle. I know I'll just tell you, don't do that. But, But really, it's like, just think about what next week is. Because we don't know. We're not going to know. So assume that she's not going back to school this year.
Right.
Even that, we hope that's not the case. But for your sake and for managing the anxiety and managing the expectations, she's not going back this year. That's what I've been telling myself that this whole time. I'm not going to be working for the rest of the year. My kid's not going back to school. So now I got to deal with this because this is the new reality. Maybe in a week or two, that's all it changes. Not a week or two. Maybe in 6 weeks or so, that all changes.
Right.
I doubt it, man. Just because the school is going to spend so much money and time, not so much Spark too, but all these districts are going to spend so much time getting these kids used to this new reality that even going back to the other thing, it might be more trouble than it's worth. So,
Right.
like, you know, that the whispers, even for DOE and these other things, is that like they're not going back. You know,
Really.
like
That's what my gut's telling me. I mean, I'm hoping for a better outcome, but
well, there's like 6 weeks left of real school, and then there's that, like, you know, mid-May to mid-June, you know, not really school period. So
right.
this is 6.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, you know, I would just kind of put that to bed, right? You know, even like Laura.
Let's get lucky to make them go to school through the summer. That would be a good idea.
I actually, I kind of agree with that, actually. Like, I think if anytime you can get these kids back to school as soon as you can, that's what you should be doing. Also, it'll help parents, like, get back to work.
Well, that's
Exactly. We don't have to worry about camp or any other kind of crap. We can just get back to work.
You can do June, July, August,
Yeah.
right into September.
Well, I mean, like,
Off and
No, I'm
go.
joking. Right? No, I know.
I mean, to be quite honest, if I was starting today and I just decided to, you know, make the school year what it was, kids would go to school year round with breaks, like 2-week breaks here and there, right? But especially with special ed kids or kids who come from like
All year round. That's it.
homes, right? They regress so far back in those 2.5 months that it's like, why are we? Yeah, and really, it's just to lower the electric bills, or just because we just know this is what we do.
This is right.
And it's mindless, right? It's like,
Well, listen, everything's gonna change. Maybe this will change too.
hey, in Japan they go to school year round, and you know, they're
not good. Well, they're a mess. Look how far behind everything they are.
Yeah, right. No,
they don't look at the future or anything.
But yeah, that's the thing.
Well, Japan's got their own problems, but you know, we'll
right. But
But-
yeah, no.
yeah, but education's not one of them. That's for sure.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. No. But yeah, no. I mean, that's kind of like where I'm at too. You know, of course, her behavior and also socially. I mean, this for a kid like her,
Yeah, 2 months without people is
without
2 weeks without
being
people is a
around
mess.
humans, kids, is disastrous for her socially. Socially, this is killing her.
So that's what I'm going to think about for the next time we're talking, because that's really what our concern for Gianna was this social adjustment. Actually, it was two-pronged, right? It was a social adjustment
Right.
as well with the new work. But I think the work stuff, I think we're good. Like, I think that you guys have the tools and we're going to be able to get through that.
Exactly. I think that we have right. I have the tools I need to kind of get that where it needs to be, and I already see improvement. So I'm confident in that. But the social aspect,
Right.
That's what's really screwing it, because there's nothing we can.
there's no choice. We have no option.
There's no real.
So I think, and like, you know, we can start to get creative like that. And some of that might just be like, you know, honestly, like, we might have like getting her practicing making new friends through the internet like this, like, you know, other kids her age, maybe even like
Right.
something will start popping up where it's like, you know, it's kind of like a, you know, but more of a school appropriate like chat roulette, where honestly just meet somebody new you've never met before, and now I want you to, like, this is what you do when you meet a new person. This is how you talk to them. These are the questions you ask. These are the things you don't say when you meet a new person. Don't tell them this. Don't tell them that. Don't talk about your lawyers or whatever it is that's going on, right? Just like, you know, we like, and a lot of people, we know this now. It's like, there's a lot of unsocialized adults out there, right? Who just like, hey, how you doing? Well, you know, my mom died last week, and like, you're like, oh, I don't know you. Why are you talking all this stuff? You know, like, there are socially appropriate things to share in socially appropriate situations. And for kids who, you know, on the spectrum, it's like, it's got to be spelled out like science, surgically. It's got to be, this is what you do then, that's what you do then. And yes, all of us need that, because we're not all just smooth operators like that. So it's like, you know, it's even like, you know, with young men, and, you know, all the baggage aside with this, but like teaching a young man how to shake somebody's hand. is a big deal because there's, you know, whether or not, oh yeah, it's stupid that it's all this masculine, blah, 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 whatever. The fact is like, he's going to go into places and shake people's hands. They're going to be like, what was with that guy? And just based on that handshake. Like that, man, that guy tried to squeeze my hand off, or that guy gave me the dead fish. Like, you know, you got to be in the middle.
He broke social distancing protocols.
Well, from now on, we'll probably just doing things like this, right? Like, I like the elbow. I kind of like this. I don't know. It's very like Klingon, or I don't know what somebody said to me, but like I like it. It's just like, don't come anywhere near me.
Somebody will flip that the wrong way, and that's gonna be the end of it.
Yeah, well, somebody says like,
right, it meant something else.
well, that's like, they're like, isn't that what they do right before they like do a Heil Hitler? I'm like, I don't think so, but now I have to go check.
That's the problem.
Yeah. But you know what? Forget all those people. I do this. This is just, I'm putting my hand on my heart. Hey, what's up? That's it. That's mine.
That's it.
All right, guys. So yeah, like, you know, let's tentatively, you guys want to get back when? When do you feel comfortable?
2 weeks? Want to do 2 weeks?
2 weeks. Yeah, that should be fine because I'll be
go.
back at work, but I'm gonna be working.
Well, we can get back on a work, so we don't have to do this in the middle of the day. Whenever you guys.
Yeah, we could do well. Yeah, we'll see how it goes because I think I'm gonna be doing.
What
I think
time do you
we're
think
gonna be working from home and out, and so
What, like, how about like a basic time reference?
probably we could still probably do midday.
Like
Okay.
3?
We'll just say like, and I'll get at you guys on like Monday or Tuesday, and we'll hammer down the.
All right, we'll
All
set
right.
up a time. Okay.
Yeah. But I'll
All right.
put it in the calendars. That's just that Wednesday, and we'll.
Yeah, we can leave it for Wednesday now. Wednesday in 2 weeks, and I'll just make sure
All right.
I'll avail myself. It's no problem.
Okay, Wednesday in
Yeah.
2 weeks, and we'll set up a time as it gets closer. Okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
And I'm gonna concentrate on the things that, like, you know, basically it's like junior high prep.
Yeah,
All right.
That's where our focus is now.
absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, especially now.
Yeah.
All right, guys, take care. Yo, I'm so happy, Steve, you're back. You know, whatever.
Thanks.
It's
That's it.
Yeah.
Dodge the bullet, brother.
Yeah.
yeah, man. Well, you know, it's a gift, right? Let's use it.
Let's
Yeah.
say, well, we had a little witchcraft going on here too with her little
All right, I call
homeopathic.
it supplements, but you call it witchcraft. I don't know.
Hey, whatever works, man.
Work. That's it.
Yeah, you know, it's better than ibuprofen, which doesn't work.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah,
That's
no
it.
ibuprofen.
Nope. Still sitting on a prescription. It didn't do a thing with him.
Yeah, you didn't even take your
Good for you. Yeah, really. I mean, like, hey, if you were
Listen.
beaten, why? Right?
That's
Yeah,
it.
that's it.
It's like, and sometimes those medicines are worse than what you got. So
That's what I'm being told, and I got some doctors kind of alluding to it too. They won't come right out and say it, but they're alluding to. If you don't really need it, why don't you try to stay away from it?
Exactly.
you know, or you don't want to just go in the back of your shed like some of those doofuses in Arizona did and just say like, oh, I think I have a hydrochloroquine and all.
That old thing to heard, and society needs that.
Right. I might edit that part out from me and you both, but like,
Feel free to edit any of this out that you need.
you know what, like, but also part of this is like, it's the South Shore method, right? Is like, this is real people, these are real conversations, and I'm not, you know, I'm not putting on my little, whatever, my psychologist hat and acting.
You gotta keep it real.
Yeah,
That's what's up.
Definitely real people.
Hey man, that's the South Shore.
Real
All right. I'll check you guys later.
All right, take it easy.
All right.
Hey.
Bye.